Hello everyone, my name is Melanie Lowe and I'm with Wix.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build your final project website for your FM 109 courses using the Wix editor. So in today's video, we're going to cover the requirements for your final project website, both what your group as a whole needs to accomplish, as well as your responsibilities as an individual working on the site. Then, after going over a couple of best practices for working on websites as a group, I'll show you how to get signed up for Wix, how to pick a template, and then how to invite all your group members to work on the site with you. Then we get to the fun part, which is where I will show you how to build a beautiful, organized final project website using Wix, a website that will showcase your accomplishments as well as your research. And then we'll close out by going over a couple of strategies for maintaining student privacy on published sites. So working in your 5-person groups, your website needs to have the following components. It needs to contain a home page with 5 sections, and each section needs to be designed by one group member. In the final project examples themselves, we give you some suggestions for what these 5 sections should look like, and in your assignment itself, you're told that that the homepage needs to include a project overview, an explanation of the company and brand that you guys are looking at as a group, a section that displays the annual sales data from that company for the past 3 years, as well as an About Our Team section. And then in the course of the website building demonstration, I'll also show you how to add some interactive elements like a gallery or a slideshow just to kind of make the website a little more interesting and engaging for a site visitor. Next, you need to make sure that your website has a blog page. What this is called in the website examples, as you see, is the research page, but it's a blog. And then each group member needs to upload their line sheet assignment as a blog post. So on the blog page, we should see 5 pages total on the completed site. Finally, the group website needs to contain a references page with every group member's project sources cited according to APA format. So those are the group responsibilities. So as an individual working on this website, what is it that you need to accomplish? Each student needs to contribute the following to their group website. You need to build and design one section of the homepage, making sure that while you're building different parts of the web page, that the homepage as a whole has a cohesive design. You then need to upload your own line sheet assignment as a blog post. And I'm going to show you how to create a table and some other features within the blog itself so that you can showcase the Excel spreadsheets of your line sheet assignments in the best way possible. And of course, finally, you need to make sure that you take all of the references from your final project and that you upload them to the references page according to APA format. So at Wix, we have actually built 2 final project website examples that we believe fulfill the requirements of your final project for FM 109 and that really successfully showcase research in the best way possible. Right? So I'm just going to show you a quick example of one of these project examples, and your instructors will make both of these sites available to you. Okay, so keep in mind again that these site examples are meant to serve as models for your own website building process. So I know that Express isn't a specific company that you guys were able to pick for your final project, but don't worry about that. Instead of paying attention to the content on this site, pay attention to what it's doing in terms of structure, in terms of how it presents its information, and how it's using features like buttons, web copy, images, videos, and media to both communicate the research project itself, but also make the research project engaging and interesting for a site visitor. So you see we have this first section that gives us the project title, a really nice video background, which is fun. We have a project overview section, which is succinctly explaining what the group project is about, and then using some nice images over here to the side. We then get to see some product photography. So this is a great way to, again, lend visual interest to the website, Also, since you guys are looking at the same company as a group, but maybe examining different products within that brand, you can showcase and nod to the different products you've looked at using this type of section, which I'll show you how to build. Another nice little overview section with some more explanation. One option for displaying your annual sales data using a button. Then we have another nice visual element in terms of a slideshow, which is showcasing product photography in a really interesting way. Another way to show your sales data, which is by linking a document from your Google Drive, and I can show you how to do this. It's a little more advanced option. And finally, the Our Team section, where remember, you're going to be including your headshot as well as your name and 3 words that describe your professional brand, right? So we're making connections in this project to work you've done throughout the year. And you'll also, of course, include a link to your LinkedIn profile, which I'll show you how to build when we get into the demonstration. Let's scroll back up to the top and just very quickly look at our other 2 pages. So you'll see we have a research page here. This is where our blog posts will live, where you will showcase your line sheet assignments. And I'm going to show you, when we get into this next part of the video, how to build a table that then allows you to show your line sheet assignment as well as this other line assignment, okay? And then finally, our references page, where we have a sample bibliography uploaded in APA format. So another page that you can just use as a model for your own, for how your sources should look. Excellent. So let's continue and go back to our presentation. So one thing to keep in mind when you get into Wix and you're beginning to build is choosing your template. And what we have done is collect 4 templates that we recommend that you guys use to build your group final project websites. If you're familiar with Wix, you'll know that when you sign up and you get into the templates that there are so many options of templates for building your site. These 4 work well because they're just very user-friendly and they have blogs on them already, so it'll just kind of facilitate the site building experience. Your instructors will make these template options available to you, and I'll show you how to search for one of these templates once we get into the Wix editor. Finally, I want to kind of take a pause before we get into actually building our website to talk about collaborating on sites. After all, this is a group project where you all will be responsible for building different aspects of the website. So something to keep in mind as you're working on your websites is that the Wix editor does allow for multiple collaborators. I'm going to show you how to invite your classmates in a second. However, it does not allow for simultaneous editing. What that means is that when your student groups, you won't be able to edit the site at the same time. It just causes glitches. One person might be working on one section, another person, and then you have, something that's not saved properly. So you have to make sure that just one person is working on the site at one time. Here are some suggestions from us and from our Wix team about, the best way to collaborate on sites. You could develop a contract or group agreement to establish the day/time you'll work on the site. You could use a Google form to sign up for the days and times that you're going to commit to working on the site based on your schedule. And you just want to make sure that you have one another's contact information. And so then you can independently work together to figure out when each group member will be working on the site, and just to also make sure that, you're managing your time in the best way possible. So again, this is a great opportunity to really get into those sort of advanced workflows and time management skills. As long as you guys are collaborating together, you should be just fine. Okay, with that then, everybody, I think that we can get into the Wix editor. We'll now go over how to sign up for a site and invite our classmates. So here I am at wix.com. And I'm going to select to get started. So It's now going to prompt me to log in, and I'm going to sign up. Just in case any of us have not signed up for Wix before, you need to enter your email and a password. Okay, now we're going to kind of go through a funnel. It's going to ask me like, oh, how did you find out about Wix? And we're just going to be asked some basic questions about what we're doing with our site and what site needs we have. So let's select Get Started. It'll ask, what kind of website are you creating? Go ahead and skip this for now. We don't need to tell it that. It would ask, if we had an online store or something, what we wanted to call our site. We're just going to skip this too. Now it'll ask what our goals are for our website. So if we wanted, we could fill this out. What are we doing on this group project website? We're sharing knowledge. We're displaying our work. And if we had other stuff, we could enter that. So this is optional, but we'll just go ahead and do that. We're going to skip this for now, guys. We're going to actually add in any apps that we want to have in the Wix editor itself. But if you knew immediately what you wanted your site to have, you could add it here. Go ahead and skip. This is now just asking us about our experience. Go ahead and say this is my first time creating a website. And we want to select choose a template because we want to be working in the Wix editor so we have the most customization options. So go ahead and click choose a template. And now here we are in the templates. So to find those templates that were recommended to you that I showed you in the presentation, again, the links will be made available to you. They're also in the blog category, so you could just kind of scroll through these different blog templates and search for one you wanted. I remember the one I really liked was the fashion blog, so I'm going to go ahead and look for that. And here it is. So this is the site I want to use. I'm going to click edit, and I'll be taken into the Wix editor. All right, now here we are in the Wix editor itself. So before we actually begin building our site, I want to show you how to invite your group members to become collaborators on your website. To do that, go over to the left up top here and under the Site button, select My Dashboard. So go ahead and elect to save your site. If you wanted to update your domain name, you could do that now. We'll just go ahead and click Save and Continue. Done. Okay, now let's try again and go to our dashboard. Okay, so from this sort of back end of our website, we have a lot of options. This will be where we go in to upload our blog and edit our blog posts and all that type of thing. But for now, to invite your group members to become your site collaborators, go to the Site Actions button and select Invite People. And now from here, you can add in the emails of all of your classmates. Just go ahead and type them out in a row. So go ahead and click add. So then there's one email, and you do that for each group member, right? And once you have all of the emails entered, you select to send the invite. And at that point, your site collaborator will be sent an invite to collaborate on the website. If they click through to accept the invitation, then they'll be able to edit the website just like you are, the one who created the website. Okay, excellent. So we can exit out of here. And now here we are, we're ready to begin building our final project websites. So let's do kind of a quick orientation in just the Wix editor itself here. So I'm going to close some tabs just so that we're ready to go. First, you'll note that every element that you add to Wix, whether it is text or media or video, what have you, can be fully customized and redesigned using this floating menu here. So if I wanted to edit this text, a little menu pops up that gives me all the options for editing it. If I wanted to resize it, I can use this little toggle here, make it smaller, make it bigger. I could change the font if I didn't like this one to something else. You'll note that I can also then change my font color. Anything I could want to do, all able to do from this floating menu here, right? So again, every element has its own little menu that lets you edit it. If we look up here, important buttons, we've already seen our save button, so we know that we're good to go there. We also have this preview button. The preview button allows you to see the site from a site visitor's perspective. So it's important that you use this button throughout the process of building your site so you can see how your design is working out and if any elements need to be adjusted for the site from the site visitor's perspective. So let's go back to the editor, and now we're back in our site builder. You'll note our big blue publish button. When we're ready to go, when we're happy with our website, that's where we click publish so that we can share it with the world. We're not there yet though, we have some work to do, which is just fine. If you come over to the left here, you'll note that you can move from page to page. So we have our about page and a home page. And if I wanted to design my about page in specific ways, this lets me get to it. Now I'm going to go back to my home page, and here on the left-hand side is everything that I will need to build my website, right? So the add panel is where all of the design elements live. Again, text, image, button, gallery, everything I could want to build my website is here. And so we'll be spending a lot of time using this today. You'll note that from the page button, you can manage your site pages this way. So let's look at our site menu. We have our home page and our about page. And if we wanted to add a page, so for instance, we need a references page, we can go ahead and click add a page. And for references, since it will just be a page of text, we don't need to pick one of these templated pages. One of these are great options for different types of sites if you want your page and your content to be laid out in a certain way. But for us today, we will just do a blank page. We're going to name it References. Done. And actually, I do want to change my home page here, because if we actually go to our home page is our blog page. So that's a little inconvenient because our blog page needs to be separate and just represent our research, right? So to change this, what we're going to do is first, clicking on these little blue buttons here, we're going to select to rename this page, and we're going to call it Research. You could also call it Our Research if you wanted, and we'll click Done. And now we want to add a new page to be our home page and designate that page as our home page. So to do this, let's go ahead and select Add a Page. And I know that these are all really cool looking dynamic pages, but we want to build our home page in our 5 sections, right? Making sure we're fulfilling our assignment requirements. So for our home page, I'm going to select a blank page as well. All right, and now I can name this, so I'm actually going to name it Home. Select Done. And then again, from my little ... button, I can set this as the home page. So I'll go ahead, set as home page. Now you'll see it has the little home icon next to it. And if I want it to come first in my menu, I'll drag it to the top here, just like that. Oh, it didn't move for me. There we go. Come on. There we are. So We have a home page, a research page, and a references page. And now this about page, I mean, we don't really need it for this website. If you guys are very ambitious and you want to do a whole about page on your team, that would be very cool. But of course, you're only being required to create an about team section on the home page. So let's go ahead, our ... button, and delete this about page because I don't think we're going to need it. Are we sure? Yes, we are. Okay, so we have our 1, 2, 3 pages, which is perfect. Last thing I want us to look at in this menu before we start building is this site design button, where we can set the color and text themes of our site, as well as give our site a page background. So if we wanted our home page to have like an interesting image background, we could go here and look at these, recommended backgrounds from Wix. And if we wanted to change it to, I don't know, something like that, now we have a background to our page. I'm actually going to undo that because I like the sort of blank background. So let's select undo button up here. Really handy tool. If you ever do something and you think, oh no, I don't like that, you can just undo. It makes it really easy. So instead of doing a page background, which is a fun way to design the site, I want to customize my color and text. And you'll note that the template comes with this set site theme, but then Wix gives me a bunch of different featured themes with different color palettes and text choices, which is very fun. So if I, for instance, felt like the look and feel of our site should be eclectic, I could click on this, and then I get a preview of what it looks like. Very striking. This is where, as a group, I think you guys are going to have some conversations about what you want the look and feel and identity of your site to be, right? And arrive at a kind of common understanding about the branding and style and design of the site so that you present a cohesive site to the public, right? So again, if we kind of scroll down and just try them out, say that I felt, let's see here, contemporary, that's okay, I guess. I could also try, let's see here, let's try this one. Sure, I kind of like this color palette, so I think this is the one I'm going to try out. And again, if I had really specific colors that I had in mind, I could go in and customize all of this if I felt like it. But for today, I'm happy with those colors and this mature theme. If I wanted to customize my text, I could do that here. So for instance, I'm not a huge fan of, this font for my headings. So I'm going to search through, and I know that I really like a font called Montserrat. I like this one. So this is what I want to be my heading 1 text. I'm going to unbold it, so if I want to bold it, I can. And when I hit apply, we'll see that this text changed, right? So I can then also customize this. I think I also want this to be Montserrat, so I'm going to change it. Again, by setting this at the beginning, it just kind of streamlines your site design process, which is nice. So I will select that, apply. Okay, and then I could go through and customize some of this other stuff if I wanted. For now, I'm going to leave it so we can get into some fun parts of building our homepage. Okay, all right. So first things first, let's spend some time in our header. So I don't think that we need this really big, site name right here. If you remember from the website example we looked at, the header was a little smaller than this. So I'm going to take my menu and bring it up here and just resize it a bit so that I can see all my pages. And then I want to make the text bigger because it is quite small. So to do that, I'll click on my design button, go to customize, and now by selecting text, I can resize my font colors and also change some of my font. So from the template, it gave me this one. Again, I really like my Montserrat font, so I'm going to find it. Go ahead and pick that. And that's really small, so I'm going to change this to a 20 and see. I like that a lot better. Okay, so we can go ahead and stretch it. That looks good. If I wanted to change the color as well, I could do that. I could also give it a fill color if I wanted to. So if I'm thinking that might be a little light, I'm going to change it to this color. I think that looks fine. Okay, so we'll leave that this way for now. And again, this header is a little big, so I want to adjust the size of it. I don't think we need this social bar, so we can go ahead and delete that if we'd like to. Now we can resize a little bit more easily. I'll move this to more of the center. That looks good. And then you remember I had a little thing over to the side here that said FM 109, just as a way to, you know, anchor the project, let people understand like, oh, this is from this class, like interesting. So to add some text to my header, I'll go over here, click on text, and I think heading 3 should work good for this. And so I'll go ahead and FM 109 final project. This is a little big actually. So I'm going to select this and change this now to a heading 2. That's a little bit better. And I can resize the box a bit. Take it and move it if I want to move it, and I do because I want it to be in my header. So it can go there. I'm going to resize just a little because this is pretty big. Oops, didn't resize the whole thing. Okay, looks good, and now I can change my font color too. I like my dark purple, so I'm going to stick with that. Okay, excellent. Some basic stuff, but now we're getting our feet wet with resizing our text, changing our fonts, and changing colors, etc. Now let's start to build the sections of our home page. Okay, to build out my home page, I'm going to use something called strips. To add a strip to my site, I head back over here to the left to my add panel, and I go to strips. And strips are full width elements, which means that they are viewable on any type of screen. So if you look over here and you see these grid lines, if I was building just on the page, I would have to keep everything within these grid lines here, or else they wouldn't be viewable on a mobile screen or a tablet screen, for instance. By using strips, I'm making my site, accessible for everybody. So back to add to strips. And you'll note we have a lot of these different templates for strips that allow us to design our site in certain ways. I like this one because it's kind of a welcoming strip. So I'm going to attach it here. I dragged and dropped it. And now I can go about designing my strip. First thing I want to do is change the strip background. So like we saw before, I could choose a color if I wanted, but I think I want an image for this strip. So I'm going to select image. And now I'm going to search for an image that I like using the media from Wix. And the Wix Media Library provides you with thousands of free images, videos, illustrations, all different types of media that you can use to build your website. And you don't have to worry about, figuring out where you sourced it from or citing it. It's here in Wix for you to use to build your site. So, searching, I'm going to search for fashion images. All right, let's see here. And if you scroll, you're going to see that there's just all sorts of different interesting, eclectic, kind of fun looking imagery for fashion themed things. So if I really if I wanted, as I scrolled and I thought, oh, I kind of like this one, everybody, all these, models in this urban area, how nice. I can change the background. And there it is. And now I have this nice background to my site. Do remember though that from the video, from the site example I showed you, I had a video background. To find video backgrounds, you can click on this video link here and then search for videos in Wix. And you'll see from these little, featured ones that you can kind of see them move and get a little preview of what they look like. So I'm going to search fashion again. All right, so if I kind of scroll through and see what my options are, some interesting looking things, definitely. So here's the one that I used in my site example, so I'm going to change it. That looks great. I think that I'm happy with that background. You'll note that when you're in the editor, it's not moving, right? So to preview it, here we are. If we go ahead and save, so just to be safe, save it, done. Now let's go to preview. And now we can see the video moving. So that looks really good. Alrighty, back to our editor. Very good, very good. Now let's change our welcome message here to a project title. And I'm using this box, and I'm keeping this box because it ensures that the text isn't too dark against the image or the video behind it. So if I just had this text on the video, it would be very hard to read, especially with the movement. This way, we have a nice little way of presenting the text that is accessible for everybody. So I'm going to kind of make my box just a little bit bigger. And now, I'll move everything around here in a second. Let's just kind of resituate it. That's good. Now we're going to take this, and instead of saying greetings, we want this to be our final project title. So this is where sometimes to keep yourselves organized, it's smart to have like all of your text in a doc, like sort of to the side or, in the background, and you can just copy and paste from it. And so for our final project, this is my title, Conscious Edit Denim. Looks good. If I wanted to change it to one of my themed fonts, I would go here, and we'll go with our Surratt. It's a little big. Maybe we could resize to like 45. I think I actually want it to be bigger. We'll go with 50. That looks pretty good. Excellent. And now we just want to make sure that it's nicely centered. That looks pretty good to me. And now we can use the subtitle, this little text box here, to just explain the project a little more. We have a project title. Now we want to just give everybody a sense of, again, what the project is, why it matters. So for this one, Making Expressions Conscious Denim, a study of fashion item lineages. Okay. And again, we could go in, change our font. Nice. Definitely want to resize. Just want people to be able to read this. 25 seems pretty good. 24, that's good too. Okay, so we'll move that over here. Just kind of reposition some stuff. All right, now I'm just going to kind of adjust some things to resize and recenter. Make sure everything's nicely aligned. And now with this button, we have a nice little call to action button here. A call to action button means it's prompting our site visitor to do something. So with this one, what we now want to do is make sure that when people click on the button, they're being taken somewhere where they can learn more. For this, we're going to click our link in the floating menu here, and we're going to link it to one of the pages on our site, for this one, to our research page. So now, if people want to learn more and they click on this button, they're going to be taken to our blog page. Let's go ahead and save this and preview it just to see how it works. Got a nice video background, and if we click Learn More, here we are on the blog page, which we're going to design shortly. Okay, so let's go back to the editor and back to our home page. So now we have one section of our home page all done and ready. One thing to note here in the footer, we have this subscribers form. This is totally optional if you guys want to have an area of your site that, allows a site visitor to get in touch with you. I mean, do keep in mind that you will be adding your LinkedIn info, but you could use a subscription form or a contact form if you wanted. For now, we're going to delete this just because we don't really need it. We want to have as much, available as possible. So now our footer's kind of big, so let's just make it a little smaller. Oh dear, we just completely got rid of it. All right, we'll go with that for now. That's fine. And then we can adjust it later if we want to. Okay, let's add in another strip now. And if we wanted to do that, we could even just click on this Add Strip button. And remember that overview section we had that just kind of gave us a snippet of information about the project? We want to add in a strip that lets us do that. So again, we have all of these templated strips that look really nice. I'm thinking for this, an about strip is going to work best. And so we have some about strips here. I really like this one. Just the layout works well. So now what we want to do is, first of all, add an image. Because we have this, image from the strip, but I want my own image. And you'll note that the strip has been divided into columns, right? So we're going to select to change the column background. And now we'll go to image. And instead of searching for media from Wix this time, guys, I'm going to upload my own media. So to do this, I go to upload. And now I can upload files from my computer. So this is where you want to be kind of organized and have your media, have your sources ready to go so that if you want to upload a custom image, it's easy to do. So we'll go ahead and click here, and I've made a file that has all of the images and media I might want to use. So I'm trying to be really organized here. And so if I just go ahead and select, I could also just drag the file if I wanted to. I think that's good. We'll upload these 18 images. Awesome. And now you can see them populating here. So I'll have all of these images at my disposal to use on my site as I build it. So again, keeping yourself organized, having your media ready to go is a great way to just make the site building process easy as possible. So I want to use this image for my column. So I'm going to change the background. There it is. That looks really good. I'm very happy with that. Now I want to go over to this other column, and this is where I want to add in some text. So what am I doing here? I'm offering an overview, but I need to now change this so that it fits my site theme. So we'll go with our heading 3, which is fine. And then, of course, I need to add in some text that tells people what this is about. So if we click Edit Text, and I have my little, going to copy and paste. Here, and now we need to resize so that we can read this. And again, if I wanted to change my fonts, I totally could. Back to my old friend, Montserrat. Got to make this way bigger. That looks pretty good to me. It just makes it accessible. And now you'll also note that this yellow, as much as it is a happy color, it's not one of my brand colors. It doesn't fit the theme of my site that I've been going with. So I can go ahead and change this column's background to a different color. So if we go here, it's got these purple colors, which look nice. I could also do this lighter gray, but to just get some color in, I'm gonna go with this. Looks good. Now this text is just a little bit too light, so I want to adjust that. All right, and now I think that looks really nice. So now we have 2 sections, introducing the project and giving a quick overview. You'll remember from the site example that we looked at earlier that I had some images in here that actually moved in a really interesting way and allowed us to showcase some product photography. So to build that, I need to use a strip, and I'm just going to pick a blank strip this time. I want it to be a lot bigger than this though, because I want the image to look really good and just kind of make a nice impression. So to resize, I'm going to go to Tools and select my toolbar and resize my strip to be about 900 pixels. So that gives me a good size here. Now I want to change my strip background to an image, and I'm going to go to my site media files that I uploaded. And let's see here. Here it is, some great product photography, so I'll change this background. So it's looking really good. Now what I want to add here is what's called a scroll effect. And a scroll effect is a way of adding dynamic movement to the website so that in the case of the scroll effect we're going to add here, as one element is static, another is moving. So it's just this really nice way to make your site look extremely professional. And for this strip, I'm going to choose the reveal scroll effect. That means that the image will reveal itself and then disappear as I scroll. So it's going to look really cool. Okay, we have our scroll effect applied. Let's click save. And now let's preview this. So I'll go to the top so that we have a nice little reveal. Okay, here we are. Oh, look at our site. It looks so good. We've got this nice little overview. And look, our image has revealed itself. That's pretty neat, right? Again, a great way to just kind of give your site a nice little wow factor for any site visitors. So let's go back to our editor. And so we have our nice little sections here. Now let's practice adding a section that contains our annual sales data. So to do this, I need a strip. And I could either use a blank strip or I could use one that has some templated elements. I'll just use this one. Now I want to delete a lot of this stuff from the templated version. And now we want to give this a title, annual sales data 2019 through 2022. You can make this different font. I'm actually going to go with Questrial. So that looks pretty good. It's a little big, so you could resize it just like that. That's pretty good. All right. So I'm going to first show us the, I guess, simpler way to include your annual sales data on your website. To do that, you're going to use a button and then link your document that contains your annual sales data, whether it's a PDF, an Excel spreadsheet, whatever it might be, you're going to link it to the button, right? So over to the left, let's add a button to our website. Here. So we have some nice themed buttons. You could also pick from one of these buttons down here. I like this one, so I'm going to select this button and I'm going to drag it and drop it here. Kind of enlarge it a bit. If I wanted to change the text, again, the text on the button needs to be a call to action, a call to your site visitor to do something. So we can give this something like check the numbers. You could also say something like read the data here. I like this. And now if we wanted to link it immediately, why don't we go ahead and do that and then we'll design the button. So click here on the link. And now earlier we linked a button to a page. Now we're going to link the button to a document. It's going to ask us to choose a file. And so if we scroll, you'll note that in here I had an Excel spreadsheet. So we'll just pretend that this is my annual sales data. So I'll select my spreadsheet. I'll decide to add to page. And now you'll see that when people click, they'll be able to download the text. So let's go ahead and preview this just to see. So check the numbers. If we click on it, you're then able to download the Excel spreadsheet that it's connected to. So we'll go back to the editor. Then of course you'd want to go in and design this button. So from here you can go to the design tab and there's all sorts of ways we can customize. For instance, if we wanted to change the color of the button, we could go here, change it to something that kind of fits the site theme. And now we could change the text as well. You can also change what the button does when people hover on it. So if we customize, we can change it to this color. Again, just adding in some nice design elements. Let's go to text. So we need to change, first of all, the text size. It's way too small. So let's try 16 looks okay. The color's a little hard to read, so we want to pick something that maybe contrasts a bit better. Like that. I like it, looks good. Again, just some ways to make your site have a little personal touch. We can put it here. And then of course you could go in and add another piece of media to this column so that you have something of visual interest and you're showcasing, you know, all of these different products that you guys have been tracing. So we could go with this one. It looks good. Excellent. The other option for displaying your annual sales data, like I said, it's a little bit more advanced, but what we're going to do is we're going to add a Google app to our site, and this app will enable us to link and display Google Drive files on our website, right? So to do this, we want to go to the Add Apps market, and we're going to search for an app. So you could search Google, you could also search spreadsheet and it'll come up, but this is the one we want, the Google Drive app. And so now if we add this to our site, as it says down here, we're going to be able to show files and folders from Google Drive right on our website. Okay, so to do that, we would select Add to Site. It's now going to add the app to our site. So here we go. And then from here, what you want to do is go to Settings and connect your Google Drive account to your Wix account. And from there, once you do this process, you'll be able to select the file that you want to display on your website. So I'm not going to connect my account in this case, but if I go to those website examples we were looking at, so if we scroll down and we look here, we'll see that because I have linked my Google account to my Wix account, I then went in and selected the file I wanted to display here. And now it sometimes takes it a second, but it is actually showing the document that lives in the Google Drive, right? So of course this is not behaving, but sometimes that happens. It just takes it a second. So again, here we go. Now we can see our data, right? So this is again a little more of an advanced option for displaying the annual sales data, but a pretty easy one if you wanted to have this, this look to your site, okay? All right. So now again, remember, just connect account and then you'll be prompted to choose which document you want to display. So I'm going to undo some of this. We'll just leave this guy here because I think it looks nice. And now, for the final part of today's video, I'm going to show you how to add in the About Us section of the site, okay? So if we, again, using our little add button here, decide to add a strip, you'll note that we have some strips here that have a way for you to show your team, right? I personally like this one in the featured area, this strip. It just displays the photos really nicely. It gives you a nice little option for showing your name. So for instance, you know, we're just doing first names. So it's Olivia, and then here you would put your brand, personal, professional brand words. So we would say something like deep thinker, leader, and web creation enthusiast. I realize those aren't 3 words, but they're 3 sets of words, right? So that's a nice way to, again, communicate that, you know, what you're contributing to the site, and it just makes your guys' sites look really professional, that you've collaborated in this really deep way and that you're all working together. So we've given Olivia her 3 words. You would then go ahead and do your 3 words for each of your contributors. You will see that there's only 4 people here. So if you wanted to add your 5th to make sure that everybody's represented, to do that, you would go to Manage Columns. and now you would add a column. And now we have 5. Awesome. So to make this, representative, we'll change the image. Let's see if I have any of my site files that look good. We'll go with this one, just for fun, of course. And so then, you change your name and add your 3 letters, right? Okay. Now we have our headshots for our team. You'd go in and make sure you had your 3 brand words, but we also need our LinkedIn information, right? So to do that, what we could do is you could take your text of your name and then link it to a web address. So this would be the way to link it to your LinkedIn page. So you would just go ahead and from your LinkedIn page, get the link and put it here, which I can actually do very quickly for us. So this is my LinkedIn page. And then I would go here, Command V, done. And now the underline signals to us that this is linked. And if people clicked on it, they would be able to go to my LinkedIn and learn more about me. And so I think that would be one great way to do it. Another way would be to use social things. So we have social bars here. And so to add that to your site, what you would do is you would pick the one you liked and we would click add. And now, of course, it has all of these different social links here. So to manage them, we go to set social links and we'd go ahead and delete all of these except for the LinkedIn. Okay. You would make sure that you linked it to your page itself. Right now, it's just linking to a general thing. So I'll just go ahead and repost my LinkedIn information. Done. And now we have a nice little social bar that we could take, say this is Dan's. You could just put it in the corner here. And that looks really good too, right? You could just click on it and then we'd be able to learn more about Dan, or you can link it to your name. And then that way you have your LinkedIn information there. Okay, everybody. So in the interest of keeping these videos, more accessible, not too long, I'm going to stop us here for today because we've designed our homepage. And what you could then do, and this is something I'll showcase in the next video, is add some interactive elements to the page if you wanted. But next, so we'll pause here, and in the next video that I'll provide you, we'll go over how to build your research pages and how to showcase your line sheet assignments using the Wix blog. All right, so thank you guys so much for your patience, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.